Right, my peoples, we right back at it, man. Video gamers, what up? This is Reezonoticz coming at you. Reezonz, the most immersive video games of all time, part 4. We're going into the Nintendo GameCube now. Nintendo's 128-bit console, which was rivaled by the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox original. We won't get right into it. These are some of the most immersive games I feel, in my opinion. You're free to disagree, free to comment, and let me know what's up. My opinion, these are the most immersive games on the systems. Games, like I said before, my definition of immersive or immersion is to take me in, to mentally take my mind captive and make me think at least momentarily that I am there, that I am in that world that you're showing me on my TV screen. So, we're going to get right to it. First game, no particular order, Luigis Mansion. Okay, this game was a launch title for the GameCube. It was the premier launch title for the GameCube, which is very shocking that a Nintendo system was not dropping with a Mario title, but with a Luigi title, which had never been done before. Very immersive game. A world that just showed off. It was kind of like a tech demo in a lot of ways to show gamers what the Nintendo GameCube was capable of over its predecessor, the N64, and over the competition. And it just had the most atmospheric color scheme and just vibe when you played. You really felt like you were in this fantasy, animated looking, cartoony, haunted house, bro. And it was in full 3D, and controlling Luigi was a cinch once you got used to it, because the controls were different than you would expect. But once you played it and you got familiar with it, the controls were just so innovative, and the graphics were just so crystal clear, so beautiful, and it really made you feel like you were in a haunted house. And then you had to chase down and hunt and vacuum these ghosts to find out where Mario disappeared to. And it was just everything about it. The music, drapes would blow in the wind, and you would see shadows on the wall, and when you would put your flashlight on a ghost, the way they would appear, and just everything, man. The physics, the effects when you would be sucking the ghost into the vacuum, the fact that you could press the A button and Luigi would call out Mario, and you would see his mouth moving and everything. It was just so real. You were there. So it was such a great game, and it really sucked you in. Not so much of the story. The story's kind of lame. Most Mario stories are, let's be real. But the world just drew you in, man. So definite immersive masterpiece, in my opinion. Coming up next, this GameStop use case that you see is for none other than The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Okay? I will be ashamed to admit, but I will admit it to you guys, that I have not played very far into this game at all, even after all this time. But I played enough to be sucked into that world, man. From the very beginning, when you're on the island and your sister gets kidnapped, and just the island itself, and it's got this cel-shaded, cartoony look, like if you're watching a computer animated show, a computer animated series, so to speak. It's got a beautiful look, a beautiful soundtrack, just the look of the characters, the emotions on their face, the environments, the way you interact with the environment. It's typical Zelda, taken to a new dimension, to a new graphical level had never been at before, but also they just kept it so real with the Zelda tradition of just being immersive and making you feel like you are really on this island, or really on this boat sailing across the ocean going to the next island. It's just, everything is so consistent and what's the word I'm looking for, man? So well glued together. The experience is flawless. I mean, I remember when I got to the dungeon, the very first dungeon where you have to sneak through the fortress to try to find your sister, and it's like the guards walking around looking for you, and you're hiding under the barrel, and just everything just felt so good. It felt so immersive. Felt like you were there, man. So very well done, man. I'm definitely going to get into this eventually. It's just that right now I'm in Skyward Sword, y'all, and y'all know what that's about. Next, Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life. Player's choice. This game is a farming simulator. As exciting as that sounds, this game is epic, man. It's great. It's super fun. It's addicting, and it will consume you if you let it. You will be there playing for years, because this game is one of those games, and Nintendo knows what they're doing when they make games like these. And they just suck you into this world where you are on your own personal little farm. And it's got the cutesy little animated style characters, kind of like an Animal Crossing or, Snowboard Kids, like I mentioned on the N64. It's got that kind of look with the characters, but it's just, and with the world itself. But it just draws you into this simple, wonderful life, just like it says in the title. A simple, wonderful, not complicated life. You're not complicated by technology and cars and police and this and that. It's just grow your crops, make your money, find your honey, find your who's gonna be your spouse, marry them, and raise a family. And it's just addicting, and it draws you into that world, man. So it's very well done. That's another classic. Oh, next, Gun. This came out on the PS2 also, and I'm not mistaken, maybe even the Xbox. But on the GameCube is where I got it. And the first time I ever had seen it and played it was on the GameCube. It is such an immersive storyline, such an immersive world. I mean, to me, this game is Red Dead Redemption before Red Dead Redemption ever came around. A generation earlier. Wild Wild West, cowboy gunslinging, going from town to town, horseback riding, bar fighting. It's just, but it's so well done and so well animated, and there's so many minor little details here and there that piece the experience together for you in such a way that it really portrays the Wild Wild West that we've seen in movies and that we, fantasize about and that we, look back on with such fondness. This game does that in a 3D interactive immersive world. And it's a thrill to play. This game was very fun to play through. I played through the whole thing, and I do not regret it at all. It was amazing. Next, FZero GX. I picked FZero X on the N64, and I'm picking this one for the exact same reason. The blazing sense of speed, the reality-bending speed that you go at in this game. The only gripe I have with this game is the difficulty. It's super hard to master and to get far in this game. But it doesn't matter if you crash a million times or if you're a pro. Just playing it, going through the wicked track design, the crazy soundtrack it has, the story mode, everything, man. It just takes you into the story mode, especially because it takes you into the underground world of high-speed anti-gravity racing that is F-Zero. How people bet on the races and all that, and you go through the story line of Captain Falcon and all the different characters. Such a great job they did in this game. Really draws you into that world, man. Next, oh my goodness, the best horror survival game of all time, Eternal Darkness. This game, Sanity's Requiem. This game is I don't want to curse, so I'm not gonna say that, but I'll say something and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a mind screw, dude. It just humps the hell out of your mind, man. This game, atmospheric, creepy. Challenges the player to question their own sanity while they're playing. I mean, it's just amazing, bro. The things that happen in this game, the dark corridors, the tombs, the mansion, every level, every world in this game is perfectly designed. The music gets you drawn in. The graphics are gorgeous. And then the mind tricks, the hallucinations that you start experiencing as your character's sanity starts to decline. Oh my God, it just draws you in, and you really feel, when you turn it off after playing it for a couple hours, you like just sit there for a second like, alright, I'm back, everything's cool, So, coming up next, WWE Day of Reckoning. Sorry about that. And Day of Reckoning 2. I have both of them in here because I only have one case for them. Some of the best wrestling games of all time. Not as good as the N64 ones, but these right here, these were the last great wrestling games. Because today's wrestling games, I mean, I haven't played WWE 12, and I look forward to playing it sometime, but everything I played, the SmackDown versus Raws and all that, they're all garbage. These were the last good wrestling games. Day of Reckoning and Day of Reckoning 2. Great story modes, variety of match types, the graphics for the crowd, and the signs they would hold up, and the way they would move in the arenas, and the entrance, and the Titantron videos, the music, everything, man. It just drew you into that WWE world, and you felt like, you were in the arena. You felt like you were Triple H, you were Shawn Michaels, you were The Undertaker. I mean, it's awesome, man. Some of the best immersiveness, especially when it comes to a wrestling game, there. Next, Wave Race Blue Storm, the sequel to Wave Race on the N64. This game does the same thing. The same reason it gets a nod from me. The water physics, the graphics, the intensity of the racing, the track design, the realism in the landscaping and the tracks and the fluidity with which it all moves while you're hauling ass, barreling down waves and everything. I mean, it's just amazing, man. The way this game draws you in, it's very well done. So that's all my time for this video. I'm going to do part 4, part 5, I don't know. The next part, I'm going to keep on going on the GameCube because I still got some more games to go through, man. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please comment, subscribe, and tune in for the next installment. God bless.